look at you. Yay. That's awesome. Hey, it's Activate. I'm going to introduce someone. I'm excited. I want to introduce to you Gitanjali Sarangan. Now listen, let me tell you about this woman. She is a first-time attender at Activate. We have some people who've been here for a long time, but this is her absolute first time. She hails from Bangalore, Karnataka, India. So this is not like an easy trip, right? I want to let you know that she also has a session later on today. She is the founder and executive director of the Snehadara Foundation, which you're going to learn a little bit about today. She has a talk at 1:30. It's in Salon 5. See me? Push, push. And there's some wonderful stuff at the back. Look how cool that you can grab and give to all your littles at home. Remember, you're supposed to bring a gift? Take it home to them. I am pleased, proud, and honored to introduce to you our first Activate speaker of 2017, Gitanjali Sarangan.
A very good morning to all of you. Okay, good morning. That's it? Good morning. I would like to share my story and my nervousness with all of you. So you just have to be a part of it. All right. Everybody has a story to tell, and each story lives when it's told. I'm so fortunate to be here today because my story is going to come to life as I share it with you this morning. So thank you so much for being here and being a part of my story, which by the end of maybe 8 minutes is going to be our story. So where do I begin? The arts play a very integral role in my life. I have been trained in music and dance quite early on. One of those cultures where we learn to sing before we can talk, we learn to dance before we can walk. So the tools of techniques have been used, of arts, has been introduced to me very early on as a child. And I continued to use them. I continued humming songs each time in a classroom that I didn't want to listen to a class. I continued the drama and the theater in my life continued with just about every dimension of my life, from eloping and getting married to getting the visa to this conference just 2 days ago. I mean, whatever made me feel that arts had such an important role to play in my life. But yes, little did I know that I would begin to use arts in the process of healing. And this happened to me about 8 years ago. I woke up one morning with excruciating pain in my hands and legs. Little did I realize what was happening to me. Little did I know what the next few months and years of something called fibromyalgia would mean. All that I knew at that time was it sounded very interesting. Fibromyalgia, myalgia, it was a rhythm. But yes, those 4 months were months of visiting every department in a multi-speciality hospital. I would go to the neurologist who would try and tell me, maybe it's something up there wrong with the brain. I would go to the rheumatologist, and after visiting, I think the only department I didn't visit was gynecology, which I visited later. And I started telling myself that I will go to any department now which has a good-looking doctor. I have to make this interesting for me. But yes, lying there on bed, not knowing what was happening to my body, in excruciating pain, the one thing that dawned on me was inclusion was something that I needed so much at that time. Inclusion is for everybody. You can't build an inclusive society only when you need it. I was battling to include and accept my fears and vulnerabilities, my strengths, watching my 2 girls watch me go through this process. In fact, I was put on all sorts of drugs, steroids, antipsychotic drugs, anti-epileptic drugs. I would joke saying that the customs was going to catch me for peddling drugs if I had to go through the scanner. But all that I knew for those 4 months was I was just doped. My little one would come to me before going to school and say, Mama, open your eyes. I just need to know you're alive. I didn't know what was happening back around with me at home. But yes, what I knew lying down there and what was finally diagnosed was that this is the pain that you're going to be dealing with. All that's in your control is how you manage the pain. It's always going to be in a spectrum of pain. There may be things that you cannot do. And wow, I was just glad they figured something and they gave me a direction to start working. It was then that I realized that therapy and treatment had to be redefined for me. What I needed at that time was probably tools which would help me heal myself, and the arts paved that way. Music, movement, theater, poetry, listening to stories. I started discovering myself in these art forms. I've always been working with children, and I love working with children because I feel I don't understand adults. And around that time is when I met this child, Sneha, a child with Down syndrome, a child of 2.5 years old, whom the doctor said would never speak, she would never walk, she had an issue with her heart. Sneha was in a regular play home with other children who were 6 and 7-year-olds. As I would go there each day, I would watch what Sneha was doing to the other children, the magic that Sneha brought to the other children. Learning became so natural for the children around Sneha. And when I went in there, I was not very technically sound with any of these terms of disabilities. In fact, when I started my journey that time, all that I knew was that children learn differently. So when I was introduced to a child as he is an autistic child, I'd never heard that word before. I was like, wow, he's an artistic child? Is this how we introduce children? It was beautiful for me at that time. And I think the advantage that I had is not knowing what they were called. Because inclusion is that gift of presence. It is to meet another where you are in your life. I went on with Sneha's journey, and like life went a full circle for her, we realized that she had to move into a regular school. There weren't schools ready to take Sneha because each one had their protocols. Each one felt we can't create a space for a child with disabilities. We can have them there, but we don't know what we could do. Having gone through this process myself, what I was clear of is that all children can learn. It's just that children learn differently. And when we accept that children learn differently, then the boundaries between what we can and what we can't starts reducing. Inclusion is being that dance. I went ahead, looked for spaces. We couldn't find anything for Sneha. And finally, I set up Snehadhara Foundation, which is the only center in India that works primarily using the method of arts-based therapy. Today, we work with over 25 organizations. We work with children and adults with disabilities. We work with regular educators, psychiatrists. We've trained over 1,500 teachers. I would say that this is what fibromyalgia gave me, besides giving me those 4 months of rest. Possibilities, a bucket of possibilities. And each child that I worked with got me to see that there is only one bucket of possibilities. And that's my gift to all of us present here. Society has taught us to see 2 buckets, me and you, me and the other. But all our experiences are one bucket of possibilities. It is the bucket of can. And like that drop of water, I would feel as I would go down that path that what I'm set out to achieve today is nothing. The developmental deficit is huge. What is my contribution going to do to all of this? In fact, besides me, I don't think anybody was clear on what I was doing. Most times, even I wasn't clear. But what I did realize that if you're out to bring about change, you need to be that irritant of change. You may be a drop of water in the ocean, but that one drop of water trickling into a bucket, tup, 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 can irritate you out of your seats. I want to be that irritant of change. And the minute you look at it that way, then the can and the can't boundaries start narrowing. There is nothing that we can't do. Do you agree with me? Yes. Yeah? I can get you singing here right now. Let's do something quickly. Butterflies. Everybody? Okay? We do this together. Bagurumba, hoi bagurumba. Bagurumba, hoi bagurumba. Chashnunga bola, khoob nunga bola. Khagurum, hamnane, bamnane. Lagu mantha, hoi lagu mantha. Bagurumba, hoi bagurumba. Bagurum, bagurum, bagurumba. Bagurum, bagurum, bagurumba. How beautiful. This is inclusion. This is togetherness. Now, if I had to tell you, I'm going to teach you a song from Northeast India. Take a deep breath, hands at 22 degrees. Let's start, move it to 32 and then 42. We would have never got this. So many of us sang in our own styles. Some of us missed the tune, but we all got together, right? It was such a beautiful composition. That is inclusion, not a verb, not an adjective, it's a noun. It is. It's not more of something, it's just being. It's in the being and not in the becoming. If this was possible by somebody like me, who does not have a background in special education, not that I'm a certified artist, maybe now I am, but yes, if this was possible by me, I don't see why it's not possible by anybody else. What one needs to do is to get together to bring about this change. I can build the world that I want, and I don't want to do this on my own. I need all of you. And what better than this platform? To live is to create, and to create is to live. You don't have to be a celebrity. You just need to be a celebrator of life. We're alive, and this butterfly is my gift to you. This butterfly is that metaphor for change and transformation. Science calls it the butterfly effect. Small random acts that we do have the potential to create large consequences. Today it's created an organization that's redefining learning in our country. So the power lies here. The power of inclusion lies here. And keeping with the spirit of Montreal, let me try something in French. Soyons le changement que vous voulez voir dans le monde. Be the change that you wish to see in this world. Love you.